Good day, fellow modelers. It's Mr. Handy back with another episode of Handy Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at this funky little aircraft. This is SOVA-M, company out of the Ukraine, but I think that they reissue A model kits because they've got the A model, if they're not the same company. Anyways, this is their 1/72nd scale U-28A. Pilatus. American name is Draco, if I'm not mistaken, the U-28A Draco. As far as I understand, from some of the reading I did, this particular aircraft is used by Special Forces for insertions, as well as covert ops, electronics, eavesdropping and stuff like that. So funky little aircraft, and we'll take a peek at what's in the bag. I've already opened it, was looking at it. I was actually thinking about starting this one, so it's already out of the bag, but you get everything in this, as always, Eastern Europe Ziploc bag. Just pull out all the bits. So you get two versions in this. One is Finnish, and the other one is US. So we'll take a peek at the instructions. There's your instructions. So there's your decals, measurements of the actual plane. There's your parts breakup. And then we get into our building. Not much to this, but it'd be a nice addition. And then they give you the two versions. There's the two versions, either the American or the Finnish. American has the sensor pods and everything at the bottom. If you take a look back on this other page, there's a sensor pod that's made, which is right here. There's a fleur, and then, yeah, she's attached to the bottom, whereas the Finnish one does not have that handy little thing. There's a couple of other little bits and pieces on the American one that's not on the Finnish. So let's get into the colors. There's our color schemes. So here's the American one. As you might be able to see, the American one doesn't actually come with markings. The only way that you will end up telling it's an American is the American flag on the back. But I'm assuming because it is a Special Forces aircraft, there are no roundels whatsoever. And then the Finnish, of course, have theirs on. Theirs. So, and they're both in a pretty plain gray. This American one is kind of this interesting gunship gray, light gray, and then the Finnish, of course, is just the gunship gray. So let's take a peek at what is in the bag. So here's our first sprue. This is the body, and as you can tell, there is some nice surface detail. It is a limited run kit, so, and it's to be expected from stuff that you would get from a model. So not quite the standards of Model Zvit, but still nice engraving. It's a very basic cockpit. Very, very basic. There's your instrument panel right here. So there's the cabin doorway, and there's your combing, and here is your cockpit floor, and then here is your sidewalls, and there is your main instrument hub. So not a lot to it. There's nothing on the inside, of course, because ultimately when it comes down to it, depending on what version you're doing, I mean, I'm going to do this the American version. I believe all these windows are all they're all colored over. So, but here is some seats and a bunch of aerials, your exhausts, and your wheels. So very basic. There's one of the seats right there, as you can see. So wheels, a little bit of flash, but like it is a limited run kit. So as you can see from, or as you might have been able to see from the front, it actually is an extremely limited run. As it says, there's only 450 pieces. So better get yours quick if you want it. Again, this is the second sprue. The only real downside to this sprue system on here is that none of the parts are numbered. You have the sprue, the actual sprue lettering, but none, as you can see, none of the parts are numbered. And in the instructions, they are numbered. So you'll have to use your instruction page to find out what pieces you're looking for. Here is the tops of the wings. As you can see, little bits and pieces here. There are some, a little bit of marring. I mean, if you can see it right here. But then over on this wing, you can take a look, and there's kind of a, where did I see that? There was a bit of a mess up on one of the panel lines. So here's the tail fins. And then the bottom. And like I said, there's some nice surface detail. No rivets. No rivet detail whatsoever. So, I mean, if you want to, you can, if you're so inclined to add it. This here is basically the sensor pods that are fitted. So there's this pod here, I believe, is for the top of the fin. Here is your FLIR pod. Here's your actual FLIR sensor system that goes underneath the American version. Here's the other portion of the fin top for the American one. This is the Finnish one here. And then we have basically your this is your front nose wheel, and then the nose wheel doors. As you can see, the landing gear is not all that great, but we can probably try and mess around and make some super detailing. So there you go. And the last sprue here is your engine bits, and I believe the other pieces here are for the fin tips, or for the actually under the wings. So you get two different types of prop. This one's not used. This is your regular turbo prop. So, and then your engine. But Again, a little bit of cleanup. But of course, it's a limited run kit, like I said. So, and what we have in this is we actually have a mask. So there's a mask for our clear parts, and here are our clear parts. So there is the top, or the main windscreen, and then there's your windows for the fuselage, and then there's a bunch of clear parts for different lights and everything. Actually, the clear parts for the navigation lights on the wings and top and bottom of the fuselage are actually in clear, which is nice. So here's your photo etch fret. So I'm not going to take it out because you should be able to see the bits and pieces. And I believe most of the photo etch on this fret is just for the American version, except for, I believe, these small parts at the bottom, which are the static dischargers. And then our decal set. So to me, they seem very good. They're all in register, as you can see. They're not overly thick. There is your panel, your main instrument panel. This, of course, is for your center console with the throttles. So, and as you could see from the painting view on the actual, on the American one, there's like very, very, very few decals. So, interesting little plane. The company SOVA-M, I've not heard of them very often. I knew that they were doing, it looks like they're doing some stuff with A models, or they're reissuing older A model stuff. I know that they do this. There are, on the box, you can actually see some of the other stuff that they're releasing. I have this one coming, which I think is a pretty funky little plane as well. It is German made with forward swept wings. That one's the ECM version. There is also a Japanese anti-sub version, or search and rescue. And then we have some of this other cool stuff. They recently released the HU-16 in 72nd scale. So I'm just waiting for that, and it's done in multiple types. The American one is coming out. It hasn't been issued yet. I think the Japanese Self-Defense Force version was released at the beginning of the year. So just waiting to see what those are like. But yeah, that's what you get. So thanks for watching, and happy modeling, and stay tuned for the next handy model, or Mr. Handy's handy reviews. Take care.